Hey everybody, this is Claire, and this is Small Joyful Things. As always, I go to thrift stores or estate sales, or sometimes I buy things from Craigslist, and I look for things that kind of I'm interested in, or just I find beautiful, and then I bring them home, try to find out as much as I can about them, and then tell you guys about them. So here's what I've got today. Here I have this really lovely plate. You can see, I hope it shows up properly on the camera. That purple is just absolutely beautiful, and it's incredibly vibrant. See, take a look. This is actually all hand painted as well, and it's not signed. I really wish it was, so that at least I could get the name of the artist that made it, because it's really fabulous. It is so delicately done. Presumably this is enamel paint as well. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm actually not entirely sure what the paint might be. I'm going to guess that it is enamel. Hard to say, really. So apart from that, it's also got this very nice gilt on the edge, and it's really surprising as well, because this is actually quite old. The gilt is in perfect condition, so this has hopefully had a very easy life. Usually if you get very old plates, and if they have any kind of gold or whatever on the edge, they've long since been worn off just from use. This has survived very nicely. So before I get into what it might be, it is just about 6 inches across. Tiny little thing. And almost an inch high, just shy of an inch. I believe that they call these plates chargers. It's not quite a saucer, it's maybe a side plate. It's quite small, and you can actually see the light sort of shining through it. It's very thin porcelain, and luckily we have a mark to tell us exactly what this is. And you can see that it's like very difficult to make out, but the Sevres will actually give you enough to be going on, just to kind of find out what it is. So here's what we've got. All right, so what this actually is this is made by a guy called Fritz Thomas. I'm going to turn that the right way around. And you see it's quite smudged, but you can just about make it out in the shield there. It says Thomas, and then it has Sevres and Bavaria. Now, what exactly does that mean? So there's stuff going on here with this, but we've got information, which is good. So first of all, this is made by a company called Porcelain Fabrik Thomas and Eins in Marktritz in 1904 in Germany. That was when the company was actually first established, and they went for quite a while. I think into the to the 1960s ish. The thing about these guys is that the Fritz Thomas was working for another company, and basically decided to kind of split off and do his own thing, and ended up founding this new company and called it, obviously, Porcelain Thomas and Eins. Eins was like the guy who's like the investor or whatever. He's the ideas guy. And the interesting thing about him is that he established his company in 1904, and almost immediately it became a subsidiary of Rosenthal. Rosenthal is the very famous German porcelain company that's known for making remarkably high-end stuff, like really fine porcelain. So here we go, in 1908, the firm was taken over by Rosenthal. And then there you go, 1960, production in Marktritz was discontinued. Now, does that actually tell us anything about the marks, or what exactly this means? Sevres. Now, we do have some extra information. Thankfully, theoldstuff.com and Porcelain Marks More has a lot more information. I'll put both links down in the description if you just want to take a read of what exactly happened to the company and how it evolved, and a few other things. Like you see here, the partner called Eins quit out of the company at the end of 1907, which named Rosenthal to advance to the major shareholder in 1908, and then it was run as a subsidiary after that point. There's some information about what happened to them during the war and all that, and then now we get down to the marks. And of course, the marks are the important thing, because it might tell us a little bit more about this. So what have we got? So the old stuff has some information here. Clues on dating Thomas marks. No points in the shield, 1908 to 1922, 2 points, 2 points, 1 point. Basically, if it has points on it, and there's some examples down here, then that can date when exactly this was made. So what have we got? Kind of nothing. We have a shield, and it has no points. Does that mean it's 1908 to 1922? Well, okay, let's go over to back to PMM. And as it happens, we do have this one right here. Sevres, Bavaria, used between 1908 and 1939. Another one without Thomas, but with this time with the Sevres series edition. Now, that's kind of interesting. Based on the reading here, I guess that this is probably one of the earlier plates. I'm going to guess it's probably the 1920s. It seems about the right, I want to say the right kind of style for that kind of era. It could even be earlier, depending on like when Art Nouveau was really kind of a thing. I kind of look at this and I thought, yeah, it's got that kind of, maybe it's got that kind of an Art Nouveau kind of a feel. Art Nouveau for me anyway is always about like kind of organic floral shapes and everything, and it kind of just like, yeah, maybe. But I'm going to say 1920s. It kind of feels it feels about right based on just what I've read here. Now, the thing is, what does Sevres mean? There you go. What does Sevres actually mean? Now here's the thing, okay? There is actually a thing called Sevres porcelain, all right? It's in Sevres in France. It is an incredibly famous like antique kind of porcelain. They did kind of this, you know, the kind of stuff that, you know, done for like the French kings and all that. And you can see some of the prices here. Like $10,000, $3,000, $2,000. Yeah. The Sevres porcelain is, the antique stuff it's opulent, it is French opulence, it is color and elaborate designs and everything. And this is kind of baffling that it actually says Sevres. Obviously that's the name of the edition, the name of like the pattern or whatever. I've seen a lot of plates that have actually been labeled like Thomas Sevres Bavaria, but they have different painted designs on them. And I suspect that Sevres is just kind of like, oh, it's in this particular style. It's this nice porcelain, it's hand painted with flowers. Like perhaps that's what they might have been going for is like, oh, it's going to be kind of like the antique French style. It's going to be like, you know, it's going to be like the French royal kind of decor feel, except, you know, on the cheap, because this does not sell for thousands of dollars. It'd be nice if it did. It definitely doesn't. I paid $1 for this at a thrift store, and really I paid $1 for it because I picked it up and I thought that's lovely and it's hand painted and it's perfect condition. And I don't actually have a lot of Bavarian. I don't think I've ever actually picked up any Bavarian porcelain before. So I thought, you know, it's lovely, it's nice. I'm gonna have a go. Just like try it out. So basically, what can we say about this particular plate? Well, if we just Thomas Sevres Bavaria. Here are examples. And you can see that they have this kind of these lovely hand-painted floral designs going on. There's another example of our little mark there. Funnily enough, I don't think I've seen many that have been similar. It's like they seem to be like all over different. That one is just beautiful. And these would all have been hand painted. As far as I can tell, some of them actually would have been signed. But they really are lovely. Anyway, well, what can we say? Like, how much is it? See, there you go. Vintage porcelain plate, Thomas Sevres of Bavaria. And it says Mentone 7.5-inch pink roses gold trim. Bigger plate than this one. And this is $18.75 US. Not thousands of dollars. Lovely. I'm probably going to get back what I paid for it if I put it on eBay. But not thousands of dollars. That would be lovely if it was. Anyway, for an antique plate, something that's probably more than 100 years old, I think it's still very beautiful. Very kind of unusual. This is like, I don't think you'd be able to find a place like this, like, well, I mean, for sale for any decent price, like, you know, in like, say, you know, if you walk into Crate and Barrel or something and pick up a place, maybe you're not going to find something like this. I think it's incredibly pretty. I'm sure someone's really going to love it. So here's my small joyful thing for the day. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Bye-bye.